I really don't know. I'm bringing up props for this guy because I really don't know that I can honestly assess Jacob Anthony deGrom, um, objectively because he just may be my favorite pitcher of all time. So I'm going to let Ralph take this one.
As for deGrom, I mean, obviously, I'm a little bit nervous. I mean, I know he had the ulnar nerve surgery, he had that removed, last year. I think I had, I've mentioned previously that I think it was 23 starts or 21 starts. His ERA was 2.48. His last three starts after the injury was 9.82. So obviously it affected him. He was leaving balls up in the zone, wasn't able to throw strikes on a consistent basis the way he usually does. But across the board, you look at deGrom's numbers, and they were just as good as they had always been. He's only 28 years old. The real question with him is health. In Dynasty, he's somebody that I'm still a little questionable about. I know that we have our Raz 30 league that I started. Andy's been helping me out with. It's a 30-team league doing Razball. And I just traded deGrom to add a couple of hitters. And, I have the Mets. And I don't know. I mean, I'm a little bit nervous long term about, what deGrom's going to be. All these guys have elbow problems. If I'm going to choose one Mets pitcher with an elbow problem, it's going to be Syndergaard just because he's got the high octane stuff. If you went with deGrom, I don't think it would be a bad decision, and I actually don't think they're all that far off. It's just like I said, Thor has the big fastball, he's got the nasty stuff, he's got the nickname, the hair, all that sort of thing. So, I think he plays up to the media a little bit more, and maybe I buy into that, unfortunately.
What was crazy is, despite everything you said, playing up to the media more, he's kind of like, not even the media's favorite on the Mets rotation with
No.
Matt Harvey being there, everything like that. I know it's kind of blasphemous for a Yankee fan to say one of his all-time favorite players is a Met, but there's some history with deGrom and myself. A few years ago, before anybody knew this guy, I was telling everybody pick him up everywhere you can. And sometimes when you make a proclamation like that, you really leave yourself exposed. And deGrom becoming an elite pitcher kind of made me look like a genius to those who knew me at the time and were listening to that. So I will never, ever forget that. And I'm deeply indebted to him for that. When reality meets fantasy, it's a great thing. A few other things, though. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know every time deGrom starts because I hashtag every start as a deGrom day. But, a little more to the point, I ran the numbers last season because I just sit here watching in amazement every time the Mets blow should be victory for deGrom. And I forgot what the total was, but it was something like over 22 times the Mets have blown a win in which he should have gotten the W. And this is not like 5-5 games where he left in the sixth inning, having given up 5 runs and, just became a slugfest. No, I'm talking about this is something like 90% of those games he had given up 2 runs or less. And in like 90% of those games, it was 1 run or less. And the majority was like 0 runs. And I'm talking like leaving the game in the 8th or ninth inning. That's how crazy it is. I mean, the Mets literally could be keeping this guy out of Cooperstown if your career win total is the determining factor for you to, get a bust in Cooperstown. I mean, I really have nothing to add other than the health concern. As Ralph mentioned, he did have his ulnar nerve moved from his elbow, and it clearly affected him. From every, he's 100% healthy at this point. He has no limitations or restrictions heading into the season. I'm all in on him. I think everybody else should be as well. I will continue supporting this guy until he hangs up the spikes. I think his ADP currently is the 18th starting pitcher. 75th player overall is kind of low for where you would normally expect him to be. So you might have a sliver of hope to get a guy like deGrom as your second pitcher, which is just phenomenal to get a starting pitcher 1 as anything later than that.